Welfare. We welcome all AIMS patient safety nodal officers, faculty from medical colleges and hospitals, residents, nurses, biomedical engineers, and health care professionals to today's session under the National Capacity Building Program on Patient Safety. As we turn our focus to the critical topic of calibration and maintenance of medical devices to ensure patient safety, we are honored to have with us Additional Director General of Health Services, Dr. Sujata Chaudhary, ma'am. I now have the privilege of inviting Dr. Sujata ma'am to kindly deliver a keynote address and introduce our expert speaker for the day, Dr. Biraj Chandrapal, Assistant Professor in Hospital Administration at AIMS Guwahati. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Archana. So, greetings from the National Patient Safety Secretariat, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, to all AIMS patient safety nodal officers, faculty from other medical colleges and hospitals, residents, nurses, biomedical engineers, and other healthcare professionals. We welcome to the upcoming webinar of National Capacity Building Program on Patient Safety. So, today's focus is on calibration and maintenance of medical devices to ensure patient safety. Now, the medical devices are central to diagnosis, treatment, and monitoring across healthcare settings. Ensuring their accuracy and functionality through regular calibration and maintenance is critical to the patient safety. Now, improperly calibrated or poorly maintained devices can result in misdiagnosis, inappropriate treatment, and serious harm to the patient. Hence, establishing a robust system for equipment upkeep is not merely a technical requirement, it is also a patient safety imperative. So hospitals must adopt systematic protocols for preventive maintenance of the equipment or devices, regular performance and checks, and prompt corrective actions. So maintenance schedules should be guided by the manufacturer's recommendation and risk assessment and usage frequency. So calibration ensures that the devices such as infusion pumps, ventilators, defibrillators, and diagnostic machines, they deliver accurate outputs within the defined tolerances. So deviations, even if minor, can lead to significant clinical consequences. Equally important is maintaining the proper documentation and logs of the calibration activities, their service reports, and asset inventories. So these support both internal audits as well as the external accreditation process, and they ensure continuity in case of staff changes. Other than this, the collaboration between the clinical departments and biomedical engineering units is very important, and it is very essential part nowadays. So clear communication channels and training programs must be in place so that the end users report faults promptly and they understand the limitation of the device. As healthcare facilities adopt increasingly sophisticated technologies, building in-house capacity for device management and integrating digital maintenance system becomes critical. Now, this strengthens the resilience and reduces the downtime, especially during high demand situations like pandemics. So, to shed light on this crucial aspect of patient safety, today we have Dr. Biraj Chandra Paul, who is an assistant professor in hospital administration at AIMS Guwahati. And as expert, we'll have him as an expert speaker. His insights will deepen our understanding of medical device governance and highlight the practical strategies to reduce the risk and improve outcomes. So let's use this opportunity to strengthen our system and reaffirm our commitment to safe and reliable healthcare delivery through rigorous device calibration and maintenance. Thank you for your active participation, and we look forward to an engaging and practical session. Over to you, Dr. Biraj Chandrapal.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for providing the opportunity for presenting that important topic on patient safety. So, respected all, with this we want to start our session for today. That is calibration and maintenance of medical devices in order to ensure patient safety. So, I'll be sharing my slides. With the slide is visible?
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Okay. One minute. So first we'll start with that primum non nocere. Means we should not do any harm to the patients. This must be in the philosophy and ethics of each and every healthcare professionals. So when the patient in the hospital, so the healthcare professional should not do any harm. So it may be intentional or unintentional. So modern day hospitals, as you know, it is with the advancement of technology and with so many innovative ways. So it is totally a technology oriented things. It provides advantages also, like it enhances the speed and accuracy of diagnosis and efficacy of therapeutic procedures. These benefits can be availed only if patients are safe and they are cured and the hospital is hazards free. But unfortunately, we have seen many instances where babies are being roasted alive due to incubator burns, or hip implants causing blood poisoning, or burns due to faulty functioning of electric cautery or shortwave diathermy, or death of a patient due to malfunction of ventilator. The medical devices, if not properly functional, then it can cause lots of harm and damages to the patient. So the safety, the risk analysis, we have to take care. It is therefore the responsibility of all healthcare professionals to ensure that it is fault-free and it is functioning properly. So, is there any regulatory authority to check it? Yes, there are lots of regulatory authorities to check it. So, in India, that CDSCO operating under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare serves as the primary regulatory authority for medical devices. So, it helps in establishing and enforcing standards that govern their manufacture, import, sale, and distribution. A significant milestone was reached in 2017 with the introduction of medical devices rule, which provides a dedicated regulatory framework for medical devices. The rule established 4 risk classes. So medical devices were categorized under 4 categories, class A to class D. So depending on their penetration level and exposure to the bodies. That class A is mild risk, then class B is mild to moderate risk, class C is moderate to high risk, and class D is very high risk. So licensing procedures also varies, and the regulatory procedures also varies depending on the risk categories of that medical devices. In April 2020, these rules were amended to extend regulatory control to all medical devices, expanding beyond that 27 categories which were listed in 2017. Then the main legislative governing body for this is Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940. So it continues to serve as the primary legislation governing medical devices in India. The act was amended multiple times to accommodate the evolving nature of medical devices. Section 3B4 of the act specifically includes medical devices within its scope. Others are the new drugs and clinical trials rules 2019 introduced additional requirements for clinical investigations of medical devices. Then in 2020, the government implemented a comprehensive scheme for voluntary registration of medical devices, which later became mandatory. Compliance with ISO 13485 is mandatory for manufacturers for class C and D devices. Then for monitoring of the adverse events, for monitoring the safety protocols, the Indian pharmacopoeia divisions, that they came out with the material vigilance along in line with the pharmacovigilance programs in India. So for monitoring all the adverse events related to the medical devices, we have the machinery, that is material vigilance. It will help in patient safety. It will check that adverse events and it will share the data. So there will be proper data system sharing, which are the equipments which have that adverse events, and that CAP, that corrective and preventive actions can be taken. So that National Coordination Center for that is the Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. Then CDSCO is the main regulatory authority. Then NHSRC, that National Health System Resource Center, will be the technical support and resource center for this material vigilance program. Then Sri Chitra Trinual Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, it will be the National Collaboration Center. So who can report it and how it can be done, that all are defined in the material vigilance programs of India. So in the hospital setup or in the healthcare system, how to minimize or what are the measures we can take to prevent that patient harm or to have patient safety due to medical devices. What are that steps we can take? So first and foremost is that all healthcare facilities, maybe in the district, that DMNHO office, maybe in the DHS level, district health services, or maybe in the hospital, that MS office, or in the PSC, CSC, all healthcare setup must have documented equipment management or medical devices management policy. Then it must have a committee. Then it must have also audit committee. Then efficient engineering services department. It is almost always seen that these are the neglected part. So we don't care about the maintenance of the equipment. No, it should not be there. There should be a well-defined workshop. In the state level, maybe it may be for the whole districts and all. It may compile all the medical devices for their calibration and EMC and all, or in the district level they have a centralized things. But it should be there that workshop related to maybe electrical, that electronic, then biomedical things. Then mandatory reporting system, that is material vigilance program. Then due care is taken during installation, such as temperature requirement, humidity requirement, and there should not be any voltage fluctuation. If UPS required, that must be installed. If this temperature range is required, the room or the place where the machine is installed should maintain that temperature, particularly in biochemistry lab and all. We see that so many sophisticated equipments are there which are totally dependent on the temperature. Then training of staff. That is very important. Whenever we install a new equipment for the hospital or new medical devices, we must train our staff how to operate it. Suppose in a community health center or district hospitals, there is infusion pump. And one new nurse is there who has joined recently, and she has less exposure and she does not know how to operate. She may put the IV fluid bottle just above the infusion pump, that if there is leakage, slight leakage of the IV fluid and it falls on the infusion, sudden burst can happen. So these are the things, means training how to properly handle the equipment. Incubator is there, how to operate the incubator. Otherwise, there can be incidents of burn of the baby. Then preventive and breakdown maintenance. There should be a calendar when to do the preventive maintenance, and you should maintain a register for breakdown. The time and date when the breakdown happened, the time and date when you have informed the vendor or when you have informed your workshop or any number, and when they have come and whether they have redressed it or it is still pending. So we must maintain the breakdown register. Then document the schedule of maintenance, daily, monthly, quarterly, or annual. This is as per the recommendation of the manufacturer. Then procedure and schedule for recalibration of equipment requiring periodic recalibration. This usually we follow that NABL 26. If you Google NABL 26, you will readily get the document where there are time frame. So which are the equipments, how frequently you have to do the calibration, maybe 6 months or 1 year. So it depends on multiple factors also, but you can have a ready glance or you can have a ready-made reference from the document, or you can refer to the documents IPHS, Indian Public Health Standards 2020. So there also you can get some reference, and most important thing is the recommendation of the manufacturer. Always follow the recommendations of the manufacturer or NABL 126 documents for scheduling of the calibration. Following regulatory guidelines, we have to follow that IEC 60601, IEC 62353, then IS 8607 and NABL 126. Then regular energy audit. So how it will help? Suppose we have a lab setup, the energy, that the load capacity is this kilowatt, and you have put equipment more than that. What will happen? There will be generation of thermal heat. Ultimately the wires and all, it will get burned, and there will be hazards. That means the equipment may also be spoiled, and as well as there will be fire hazard. Then regular equipment audit. So we'll go in detail the equipment audit in subsequent slides. Regular inspection of all biomedical equipment in patient care areas, it has to be done. Then regular check. Here I put one example, that regular inspection of all biomedical equipment. Just like one small example. I have seen one that plaster cutter in a hospital. There was no regular check for the wear and tear. And unfortunately, it happened that the wire with that at the bottom of that part of the plaster cutter, it got due to uses, it got some wear and tear. Ultimately, that both positive and negative it touched, and there was incidence of fire. It suddenly burst while cutting, and the patient got panicked. Then regular check of all electrical cables, switches, earthing, if it is properly there or not. No loose hanging electrical wires is there. Then PPE is mandatory. For some equipment and machinery that you have to take the safety protocols. And if there is any personal protective equipment, they should wear it while operating. For example, those who are working in a manifold, they have to put the earplug. So there are different those, if there is electrical panel, there should be rubber mat below that electrical panels. So these are the few examples of safety. Those who are working in the radiation zone, then radiation protective, then lead apron and all, and TL device for monitoring, that should be in practice. Any equipment found operational not reliable is declared redundant and removed from the uses area, so that there are less chances of any harmful effect to the patient as well as to the operator. That any known hazard of any equipment are being informed to all the user staff, and warning sign in local language are displayed to prevent any harm to the patient or staff or any hazard. Then coming to this guideline, so there is a National Biomedical Equipment Management and Maintenance Program from the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. It was launched in the year 2015 for comprehensive maintenance of medical equipment available in the public health facilities from the level of PSC up to the district hospitals. So the program supports states, union territories, both in-house maintenance and in PPP mode. In the in-house maintenance, it tie up with the OEMs and engage them for doing CMC and AMC. Financial support is provided under the NHM through annual program implementation plan. And it can be done through PPP mode also by through tendering or outsourcing. So we have learned there should be an equipment management committee. So what constitutes that suggestive composition of the committee? Who can be in the committee? So the chairperson can usually be the head, the MS or additional MS or medical officer in charge of the health facility. Then head or nominated members from clinical specialties. Then biomedical engineer, store in charge, purchase officer, finance officer, nursing superintendent. Then hospital equipment management committee should hold a meeting at least in a quarter. And what will be the committee to receive proposal and evaluation with justification. When there is demand for any equipment or medical device, it should check if there is proper justification is there and not. They will do the need analysis and cost benefit analysis of the equipment. Then receipt, installation and commissioning of the new equipment. So whether the equipment is being installed as per instruction, whether calibration is done and everything was in place, all requirements are being fulfilled. Then training of the staff will be operating the equipment. Preparation of equipment master plan with scheduled preventive maintenance and calibration. Preferably, it should be that technology oriented, or it should be that there should be software for maintaining all these things. So then review of inventory, list out functional and non-functional equipment. So this committee should monitor, then coordinating with equipment audit committee also, and to look after whether equipment audit is being performed or not. Mentoring activities of equipment maintenance, complaint management, whether breakdown was done in time or not, whether some pending complaints are there or not, ensuring preventive maintenance, calibration as per OEM recommendation, that is as per the manufacturer's instruction. Then proposal for condemnation. If the equipment is out of order, if it is beyond repair and cost of repair is more than as per the guidelines, BIS standards, it can propose for condemnation. It will then go to the condemnation committee. What constitutes that equipment audit committee? Preferably, the committee will be headed by that hospital administrator, who will be the chairperson, and the members representing the user departments. Then equipment audit is periodic evaluation system to measure the quality of performance of the medical equipment. The focus of the audit is to assess the current status of the medical equipment, carry out equipment census, analyze the records of breakdown, preventive maintenance, service engineering report, record of feedback from the user, performance of equipment, and electrical reasons, if any, etc. It should analyze the reason for dysfunctional equipment. If some equipment is dysfunctional in a particular department, that equipment audit committee or equipment audit team must comment why the equipment is non-functional, whether it is in want of minor repair, whether there is lack of preventive maintenance, whether there is lack of corrective maintenance, lack of essential spares, electrical faults, unfavorable conditions, mishandling, untrained staff, purchase without justifiable demands, etc. So if there are any non-functional equipments in the department, it should justify why the equipment is non-functional, why the proper repair and maintenance was not done. The BIS has described following advantages of the equipment audit, like evaluate the concurrent performance and utilization of the equipment. It provides a satisfactory mechanism to assist the process of condemnation, to identify inadequacies and recommend remedial measures, to audit reports. The audit reports provide an objective criteria of procurement of the equipment, cost per reportable results, and cost effectiveness can be evaluated. So the equipment audit has so much of advantages. What can be the stages of the equipment audit? It starts from the justification of the procurement, selection of the supplies, then ensuring availability of the essential spares, then after sales service, maintenance service, and training of the service, including the installation and commissioning of the equipment. What are the common mistakes the healthcare organization do? First and foremost, it is the most neglected part of the hospital. Nobody bothers about forming any committee to look after the medical devices, its commissioning, its installation, or its maintenance, calibration, and all. Not having an equipment audit program, delaying the insurance maintenance contract, or not appointing that biomedical engineer, or buying some costly equipment just because all other organizations is buying it and without having the proper manpower or trained manpower to operate it, not allocating adequate budget for maintenance staff or spare parts, or sometimes it has been seen that maintenance staff is there but funds for spare parts is not there. Then not following statutory and regulatory framework for the equipment, not reporting incidents related to medical devices. What can be the indicators? So whenever we'll be assessing any hospital, or we'll be assessing that whether there is proper equipment management program is there or not in the hospital, what the assessor or what we should check that the hospital is having a proper equipment management program or not. So the indicators can be divided under operational efficiency and utilization indicators. Under operational efficiency, whether the equipment is efficiently performing or not. In this, we will be checking the downtime. How much was the downtime of the equipment? So then frequency of breakdown. So we can get this that efficiency of the equipment from the number of times the equipment was broken down. Then postponement of procedure. How many times the procedure was postponed due to non-functional of the equipment? Incidents of hazard to the patient or to the staff. Then frequency of complaints from the end user. Then cost of repairs, whether the cost of the repair is escalating every time. Then utilization indicators, how many number of tests the equipment is performing per month, rate of return from the equipment, the generation of revenue. So now coming to the definition, what constitutes the medical devices? What is medical devices as per WHO? WHO defines that medical device means any instrument, apparatus, implement, machine, appliance, implant, reagent for in vitro use, software, material, or other similar or related article intended by the manufacturer to be used alone or in combination for human beings for one or more of the specific purpose. There is another definition that is MDR 2017 that medical devices means substances used for in vitro diagnosis and surgical dressings, surgical bandages, surgical staples, surgical sutures, ligatures, blood and blood component collection bags with or without anticoagulant covered under subclause 1. Then substances including mechanical contraceptives, disinfectants and insecticides notified in the official gazette under subclause 2. Then devices notified from time to time under subclause 4. Coming to the calibration part now. So we have covered some of the maintenance part. Now calibration part. What can be the calibration? Calibration is the process of adjusting and verifying the accuracy of medical devices by comparing their output to a known standard or reference. ISO has given another definition, that is calibration is the set of operation that establishes under a specified condition the relationship between values indicated by a measuring instrument, a measuring system, or values represented by a material measure and the corresponding known values of a measure. So it is always comparison with a standard. So during calibration, we always compare our equipment with some standards, whether it is matching with it or not. So calibration is not a one-time procedure. You have to do, maybe it is 6 monthly or 1 yearly. There are so many factors, but we'd recommend to follow the manufacturer's recommendations and also the NABL 126 or IPHS 2022. Why calibration is critical? First and foremost, it will ensure the safety of the patient. With the calibrated equipments, we'll get a proper diagnosis. If the equipment is not properly calibrated, so there are high chances that diagnosis, the accuracy of the diagnosis is not proper. Miscalibrated devices can lead to incorrect reading, which may result in misdiagnosis or delayed treatment. So ultimately, the length of the stay of patient in the hospital will increase, and the patient will be admitted with some purposes. The diagnosis will be something, and the end result will be something. Effective treatment. Devices such as infusion pumps or ventilators must deliver precise doses or volumes. Even small deviations can be harmful. I will give one example. That pediatric IV set is there. So if that IV set, that nursing officers sometimes that doctors has prescribed that 50 ml. This for example, linezolid injection or some injections, you have to administer only 50 ml as per the body weight. This baby will be required this much, and she might have adjusted it in that pediatric IV drip set. But unfortunately, if there is leakage in the drip set, or if it is not properly calibrated, or if it is not properly set up, that baby may get even 100 ml or 500 ml. Whole things may go. So ultimately, there are high chance there will be some adverse events to the patient. Then regulatory compliances. So we have to be in compliance with the regulatory authorities, as we have discussed in the preliminary slides. Then risk management process. So risk mitigation. So this calibration of the equipment will reduces the risk. So it will be having a risk mitigation. It will be having the risk mitigation plan, or it will have the risk mitigation effect on the equipment. Quality control. So calibrated equipment always will give you the quality assurance of the result. What are the common gaps in testing and calibration of biomedical equipments or medical devices? That common gaps, limited technical expertise among the service providers. Many hospitals, if we visit, they don't have the proper biomedical engineering team. Then inadequate infrastructure. Even if the biomedical engineering team is there, there is no spare parts, or there are lots of equipments and there are no proper space to install them. So they are placed in a haphazard manner. There is no proper ventilation. There is no proper maintenance of the temperature and humidity. Sometimes the temperature is maintained, humidity is high. So ultimately, the efficiency of the equipment will lower, and it will indirectly, the result will be poor, and indirectly it will hamper the patient's safety. Lack of standardization, limited awareness about the maintenance of the equipment, about the calibration of the. It may happen that the top of the institute may not have that idea that calibration is also an important aspect of the equipment for getting the correct result. Then disparities in rural healthcare. In rural healthcare, we usually observe there are no expertise, or there are no workshop. So in these cases, we have observed with the implementation of the ANQUAS program that almost all districts, they have a combined systems for all PSC, CSC, even the sub-centers, that equipment, BP apparatus and glucometer, they are taking to the districts, and in the districts there are common farm. From there they are doing the calibration. Remote and challenging terrains, it can be also solved with a common program in the district level, so that from the sub-center level, that Ayushman Aragya Mitra Center, then CSC, or in the CSC, or in the that DMNHO office, it can be done. Standards in testings and calibration of biomedical equipment. What are the standards we usually follow for the calibration? So there are two types of standards: written standards and measured standards. Written standards are often established by global organizations such as International Organization for Standardization, that is ISO, then IEC, International Electrochemical Commission, then Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, IEEE, then International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, that ILAC, and others. In India, we have BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards, is an exclusive standardization body for development of Indian standards as per the country's requirement. BIS is a member of the ISO and International IEC. If Indian standards are not available, then what we'll do? We can adopt some international standards, but we have to maintain the standards. BIS is a dedicated division dealing with the medical devices only, that is called Medical Equipment and Hospital Planning Division, MHD. The most widely adopted written quality management standards are ISO 9001 and 2015, that is QMS, Quality Management System we call it. Then ISO 17025 2017, that is General Requirements for the Competence of Testing and Calibration Laboratories. And then ISO 13485 2016, that is called Medical Devices Quality Management System Requirements for Regulatory, that is requirement for the regulatory. For the hospital system, that is QMS. For the testing and calibration laboratories, that is 17025, and for regulatory purpose 13485. The organizations which are dealing with it in India: Medical Devices Regulations, that is National Medical Device Policy 2023, and New Drugs, Medical Devices and Cosmetic Bills 2022 emphasizes on the need for quality control and periodic calibration assessment of medical equipments in order to reduce the errors. So what are the organizations? CSIR NPL, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, National Physical Laboratories. So what they are doing? CSIR NPL has following facilities for testing, calibration of medical devices: medical device simulator, analyzer, that is defibrillator and defibrillator analyzer calibration; infusion device analyzer; the non-invasive blood pressure, NIBP; then testing system, NIBP, that calibration devices and testing system; then clinical thermometer testing calibration facility; then ECG simulator calibration facility. These are from the CSIR NPL. Then coming to the NABL. NABL is an accreditation body which is under Quality Council of India, that is Autonomous Institute, which in accordance with ISO 17011, it undertakes the assessment and accreditation of testing, calibration, proficiency testing provider and reference material provider in India and abroad. NABL offers voluntary accreditation services to calibration laboratories in accordance with ISO 17025. The scope of NABL accreditation services for calibration laboratories encompass multiple disciplines, including mechanical, electrochemical, fluid flow, thermal, optical, radiological, and medical devices. NABL provides accreditation to calibration laboratories that adheres to stringent quality and calibration standards and procedure. NABL provides accreditation to a large number of laboratories while ensuring metrological traceability to SI units. Then other organization, Standardization of Testing and Quality Certification, STOC Directorate. Others, then documentation part. That are the organizations. What are the organizations dealing with that? That is CSIR NPL. The most widely used one is NABL. Then STQC. Documentation part, it can be divided under two parts, that calibration diagram and calibration curve. It can be that whenever that information obtained through calibration. So whenever we'll be visiting any healthcare organization or any healthcare organizations, we may ask them, show the calibration certificate. So the calibration certificates can be represented in the two formats, that is calibration diagram or calibration curve. Graphical diagram is that graphical expression of the relation between indication and corresponding measurement results. And the curve is that expression of the relation between indication and corresponding measured quantity value. A calibration curve expresses a one-to-one relation that does not supply a measurement result, as it bears no information about the measurement uncertainty. How frequently the calibration can be done? What should be the ideal intervals of calibration? A calibration interval, that is, there is no hard and fast rule. So usually we must follow the manufacturer's instruction for this, or we can refer to the, as we have said, IPHS, Indian Public Health Standard 2022, or NABL 126 for that. What is the definition of equipment maintenance according to BIS? BIS has defined is the combination of all technical and administrative actions, including supervision actions intended to retain and entrain or restore it to a state in which it can perform required function. So maintenance, the institute must define its maintenance policy. Each hospital should develop the maintenance policy. The basic concept of the maintenance policy is to support the life and health of patient while keeping the reliability and safety of the equipment. That should be the objective. Other objectives of the equipment maintenance program will be uninterrupted operation, extend to the full life of the equipments, then assure the optimum availability of installed equipment, then ensure operational readiness, there should be minimum downtime, ensure the safety, then safety to the patient as well as the person using the equipment, operating the equipment, provide a systematic approach to work in the department, provide a sound methods of ascertaining the validity of budgetary request. What are the different types of maintenance of the equipment? One is the preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance is always done at a predetermined interval. So you must have a software where you can check that the intervals of all the medical devices of your institutes. Then there is another system that is called breakdown maintenance, that is carried out after fault recognitions. When there is any breakdown of the equipment, that is done. What is predictive maintenance? Predictive maintenance is based on the analysis of your data and predicting the maintenance time. And total productive maintenance, it is a holistic approach. Right from the management and the operator, they all will be dealing with the maintenance process of the equipment. Then equipment management can be done in-house through the OEM, through that AMC, CMC and all, or it can be done through contractual maintenance system. What are the advantages of contractual maintenance? There is no capital investment in equipment tool. Then trained specialists are hired for each job. There are no in-house personnel problems such as strike and etc. Then no human resource management problem. Disadvantages, that it will be the cost will be higher. So it is no longer possible to control when and how each job will be completed. And then the turnaround time, the breakdown maintenance time. So they may come and there may be delay. They may not act proactively. So for proper management of equipment and for having a proper equipment management program in the hospital, we must have equipment management information system, so that all the breakdown of the equipment and all the history sheet of the equipment, it must be maintained electronically. There must be software. If you are using CDEC or NIC software, it must be inbuilt in your software, that equipment management part. You should have the history sheet of the equipment as well as the breakdown portion of the equipments. Then automatically you can calculate that utilization coefficient of the equipments. That it will indicate the efficiency of the equipment, of the utilization of the equipments. So you don't have to engage manpowers, or you don't have to maintain lots of register for this if you have a ready-made equipment management information system in your hospital. So BIS again recommended following contents in the history sheet. Here it is there 1 to 20 number. So this must be the contents in the history sheet. If it is electronically maintained, then you can feed once and all equipment can be traced at one go. And if you are maintaining in the register, so at the head end of the register, you have to put this, and each parameters we have to check for the equipments. Then coming to the decommissioning part. So we have gone through the calibration part, we have gone through the maintenance part. Now, so the decommissioning, how will we decommission? What can be the criteria for the decommissioning of the equipment? So, first of all, assessment of life of the equipment can be done on the following basis: built-up structure and technology, number of years the equipment is functioning, maintenance and repair options of the equipment, availability of the spare parts of the equipment in the market, and then handling of the equipment, means whether it is with lots of hazards or not. Then the change in the technology of the equipment, whether the equipment is totally outdated or obsolete, obsolescence of the technology of the equipment. What are the minimum criteria recommended by the BIS for condemnation of and disposal of the equipments? For condemnation, we have to see these 5 criteria. So when the equipment is coming to the condemnation committee through your equipment management committee, the committee must see this criteria: non-functional and beyond economical repair, the non-functional and obsolete, functional but obsolete, functional but hazardous, functional but no longer required. And disposal, ultimately, there are different procedures for disposal. It can be disposed through auction, it can be transferred to the other departments, or buyback option and scrap. With this, I want to wrap up my session. Over to Archana ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Birich, and it was really insightful. Even we got many questions. So I'll just ask you the few questions which is asked by our participants. The first is, let me start. If the committee is not formed, how can we form a committee?
So this is very nice question. So I have shared in the PPT. If you can share this PPT in the groups, they can have some hints that what constitutes the committee. Means there is some rough idea I have given what can be the composition of the committee, what can be the function of the committee. So they can take it as a reference document, or they can modify it as per their convenience also, as per the expertise of the institutes also. So that are the rough guidelines which they can follow. It is
Sure, sir.
already in the PPT.
Yeah. So second is, any government guidelines related calibration of equipment apart from OEM?
That for the calibration in the public health, there is already government guidelines and they are helping it. So that is also I have included in the in my PPT also. Then in this also I have described there are 2 modes the government is following. That is, one is PPP mode and one through the OEM. So OEM and in this also financial support is also being provided through NHM fund.
Okay. So that is good that there is a budget also. So
Yes,
they can
yes,
go.
ma'am. So it
The
is
third
right
is,
from Ayushman Aragya Mandir to the district hospital level. So, and it is it has been observed also, so many states they are following it.
thank you, sir. The third is, if the equipment is under warranty, whether the biomedical engineer can inspect or service the equipment in case of any breakdown, or else we have to wait for the service engineer to attend it.
It's always advisable to contact the service engineer, or to contact the OEM of the equipment or the supplier. Because if your local that biomedical engineer opens the equipment or he has done something, that there might be some objections from the OEM or the if it is under the warranty period.
And then the other question is, please provide any guidelines for equipment audit and its frequency.
Again, the same things
It
I'll
is
say
same.
that I have provided in that in my
Yep.
PPT. So if you share it, they can, I
Get.
think they can use it as a reference document.
And one more is
What constitutes
that,
the equipment audit committee, how frequently the audit can be done, and functions of the equipment audit committee as well as the advantages.
then if biomedical engineering is not conducting a regular calibration of biomedical equipment in the government sector, it may be challenging to address existing issues effectively. Exploring solution to ensure consistent maintenance could be beneficial for improving equipment performance and reliability.
Now, this is very important questions. Usually, this is a neglected part, maybe due to lack of awareness, or maybe due to lack of interest, whatever may be. But it has always been observed that most of the equipment which has to be calibrated 6 monthly or 1 yearly, it is not done. Or at the time of installation, also many people have the understanding that since the company has installed, it is already calibrated during warranty period or something, we don't have to do. but we have to ensure the calibration certificate from the company that whether during installation they have done the proper calibration or not. Now coming to your question, ma'am, if there is no biomedical engineering institute, or if there is no calibration program, or there is no equipment maintenance program in the institute, they can make a list of the equipment. They can check they can do the market survey. What can be the probable cost of calibration of the equipment? They can procure the calibration and all through the JAM.
Okay, so but this is the way they can start. So good. And the other is the government should issue a circular regarding mandatory calibration equipment and monitoring for every government and private hospital, because it is directly connected with the patient safety. Definitely
Ma'am, there are
agree. Yeah.
so many guidelines already there. So many guidelines are already there for calibration from the ministry and the government. So
Yeah.
calibration is very important. It has to be done. Otherwise, there are high chances of patient harm, and then
And wrong reporting, and
yes,
which is not
yes, that can be prevented only through calibrated equipment.
The one is that, sir, we want to start in-house calibration facility at our hospital. Then any support by government program. Obviously, you have already told that there is even the budgetary provision is there, so they may explore and will share the PPT for more information. Even if you participant have more questions, you can write to us at the secretariat patientsafety@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you with the detailed answer. With this,
Exactly, ma'am.
I think it was a good session, informative one. I would like to thank everyone for being a part of this insightful session under the National Capacity Building Program on Patient Safety. On behalf of the National Patient Safety Secretariat, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, I extend my sincere gratitude to Additional DGHS Dr. Sujata Chaudhary ma'am for her inspiring keynote address and for setting the tone of today's discussion. A heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Biraj Chandrapal, for sharing his expertise on the calibration and maintenance of medical devices, an area that is vital for ensuring patient safety but often underappreciated. Your practical insights and clear recommendations have added immense value for understanding. We also thank to our AIMS patient safety nodal officer, healthcare faculty, resident nurses, biomedical engineers, and participants from across the country for enthusiastic presence and engagement. Let's take the lesson from today's session forward to strengthen our biomedical equipment governance and reinforce our collective commitment to patient safety. Look forward to your continued participation in the upcoming webinars. Last but not the least, to thank our technical partner, ECO, for the support. Thank you all. Have a safe day ahead.
Thank
Thank you,
you, ma'am.
Dr. Archana.
Thank you for
Thank
giving the
you.
opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Veerat, sir.
Thank you, sir.